Okay, so let's look at the Vnc Series Charts. This happens to be the front and back of the Toronto VNC. And you can see that it tells you that it's the Toronto VNC. It tells you the scale. They give you all this stuff on the written test. People still get it wrong. And they've got this map, and the actual map that it is, if you could see it more closely, is shaded on here. This is all of the aerodrome information. Aerodrome is just a fancy way of saying airport. And a bunch of other symbols that we will talk about. And then on the opposing flap, so this is like you flip the map over, there's all of this stuff with radio aids to navigation and different altitude information, obstructions, that kind of thing. All that stuff is there. And then this really interesting thing here where it shows the different colors. The fancy name is Hypsometric Tinting. All that means is the darker the color, the higher the elevation. So one of the interesting things is they put a number right here at the top of that, and that's the highest point on the map, and they indicate the lat-long coordinates. So people waste 20 minutes looking for the highest point on the map, and all they have to do is look right here. So there's a lot of good stuff that's on the map. VTA series charts, VFR terminal area charts. You don't get these for everywhere. Remember that VTA series charts are only for the largest airport. This one happens to be for Vancouver. The thing to notice is the scale is 1 to 250,000 as opposed to 1 to 500,000. So what does this mean? It means on the same size piece of paper, all the features are twice as large on the VTA series chart. So when we're flying around a large terminal area with a big airport, large city, we do a lot of VFR navigation with landmarks, and this just makes the landmarks bigger, and you'll be able to find them and relate them a little bit better. We're going to look at a bunch of the features around the Toronto area. A lot of the pilots that we talk to operate in and around the Toronto area, and it makes sense because a large number of pilots in Canada are located in the GTA. But the kind of stuff I'm going to talk about would apply to any terminal area. So it would apply to Montreal, it would apply to Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver. We just happen to pick Toronto. There's nothing really special about it. So a couple of things I'm gonna point out. So here we have Toronto Pearson Airport, otherwise known to pilots as the center of the universe. Detect some sarcasm there. You see these sort of concentric rings that come out from the center. On the VNC series chart, these are not well explained. They are well explained on the VTA chart, and what they indicate is that this is a Class C terminal control area. And the way you have to think about it is it's like an upside down wedding cake. So the closer you get, each of these rings represents that controlled airspace is getting lower and lower. And in this case, it's a Class C terminal control area. And then eventually, and again, the scale here is not the greatest, but maybe we got a close-up. Right around Toronto Pearson, we have a control zone. Right around Toronto City Centre, we have a control zone. Up at Buttonville, we've got a control zone. Over in Oshawa, we've got a control zone. Fairly complicated airspace, but there are little notes and bits and pieces all over the place. Some of the things that are sort of normal to every VTA chart, you look at these numbers all over the place, right? 13, 19, 13, 18. Those are known as the maximum elevation figure. And what does that mean? It means, for example, in this square, and map makers call this a quadrangle. You don't need to know that. In this square right here, the highest elevation you need to worry about is 1,300 feet. Now, there's no buffer. So 1,300 feet is it. And that's either going to be the highest point of land plus about 300 feet, 100 meters, or the highest obstruction, and it's rounded up. Okay, and that's essentially how they do it. So you notice that here it's 2,100 feet. Well, that's because the CN Tower is in this area right here. And it is approximately 2,100 feet above sea level. So the question comes, are these numbers above sea level or above ground level? Well, what makes the most sense? Do you want to do the math when you're flying low to the ground and wondering if you're going to be safe? Of course not. You're going to want this in above sea level, just like your altimeter. So these are, a couple of important things for you to remember.